Hey everybody, I'm Brian with Fort Knox Garage, and this is a MB Sports B52 Classic. This is their 23-foot model, and it's in the seafoam green with the white accents, and it has a pearl clear coat around the whole thing. I wanted to do a little overview here, kind of show you the ins and outs of the boat, maybe answer some questions for you. We did a lot of research on all the different boats out there, and the reason we went with MB is because it checked off a lot of those boxes for us. So I'm hoping to give you guys some info here and give you a detailed look inside and out of these boats. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. It does help me out. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. I'll get back to you. Let's go ahead and start with exactly how big this boat is. If you measure from the tip of the trailer all the way to the end of the swim step, it is exactly 28 feet. Then if you were to collapse the tongue, it's exactly 26 feet. And then if you're gonna measure the boat itself, from the tip of the boat to the end of the swim step, I measured 24 feet, 2 inches. And even though they do call this their 23-foot model, it obviously sits a little bit larger than that. But I think most people had questions on exactly how long is it on the trailer, if the swim step is removable, which it is because there's some brackets right here underneath. But I know that's one of the questions that a lot of people have is if it will fit in the garage that they have, if the garage is deep enough. So hopefully that helps you out. If you look at the body line here, it's very straight. It kind of has that straight boat seam. This is their classic model, and that's kind of the body line. It's very straight. They also now have an Alpha, which has a little bit more of a curve on top, but the bottom of the boat and the hull is the same. In 2018, I think they came out with a new hull, which is supposed to have an even better surfing wave, even though the wave on these things is supposed to be amazing already. But in 2018, I believe they changed the hull, but the top interior has stayed the same with other upgrades that you can have, obviously. But the Alpha has some other interior upgrades that I think a lot of other brands were doing, and so they were catching up with that. But if you want one or the other, they both still have the same wave and they should ride the same. Another thing, looking at the back here, we have our surf systems, and then we also have our surf exhaust. You can obviously add the surf exhaust on there and it will bring the exhaust down and under the water. This right here is their standard option, but I'd recommend getting that surf exhaust because it does help the riders. It also makes it a lot quieter when you're riding on the lake. And another thing was this ride plate here on the back. That's one of the things that we actually really liked about these because not every boat has a ride plate either for the boat or their surf systems. We did have a Taiga before and it had the tap system, so it has these hydraulic plates, and I really like the option to be able to bring the nose of the boat up or down depending on how the water was, because on some of the lakes out here a storm can roll in really quick and it's nice to be able to actually adjust the ride of your boat. If you just need to get it back to shore really quick, you can actually bring the nose of your boat up and you can ride through the choppy waves and you don't take on any water. So that was kind of like a must for us when I saw it. I like that they had that option, and again, this is part of their standard surf system. And as we look a little bit closer to their surf system, you can see these hydraulic plates. This is what kind of gives them the dubbed name, the Wave. A lot of people swear that it's some of the best surfing waves that they've seen. They also have the gravity feed hard tanks here. You can just push a switch up front. It'll gravity feed water into the hard tanks. Then you can just pump water right on top and you can have a couple thousand pounds of water in a very short amount of time. And then if we look at the swim step here, they have options to add swim step drop down ladders. That's one of the things, again, I wish this boat had, but buying it used, we kind of didn't have that option at this point. But if you're going to build a boat, I would definitely add it. They do come with gator step decking. They also have the option of doing the carpet. And if you go up here on top, you can see the engine compartment. It has the flat, large upholstered top. That is kind of like a staple on the Classic. It has that flat traditional back engine compartment. They do make options now where you can actually do a walkthrough and you can get some gator step down the middle for probably better traction and also so we don't wear and tear out this upholstery. But if you like that look, it's something that you can get on these boats. So as we open up the engine compartment, you can see these ballast bags right here. I'll show you underneath. We can actually look underneath where the bag actually attaches to the hard tank. This is how the water actually feeds through, so that once you're done surfing, you can actually just open up those floodgates. You can pull all the water out of the bags and the hard tanks just by simply driving away. And you do not have to rely on a motor pumping the water out to get all that water and weight out of your boat. Again, a really good feature so that if something happens on the lake and you just need to go, you don't have to worry about a pump doing it. You can open it and within a couple minutes, you can have all that water and weight out of your boat. Taking a look at the motor, this has the Raptor 440. Usually these have a 400, and I know that they do just fine with the 400. We were lucky enough that this boat had a 440 in it, and I think at the time when you were building the boat, it was a $7,000 or $8,000 upgrade. It is more horsepower, and it does have its benefits. A lot of people say that when you're surfing, or depending on what altitudes you're at, it may be something that you want to look into, but a lot of them have the 400 motor, and I hear that they do just fine with that. That is kind of like their standard powerhouse motors for these boats. Then if we look into the back compartment here, you can see we have LED lights everywhere. We also have our plugs so that we can pump up all of our beach toys. You can see here, this is where the seam is down the middle. This is where you can have that gator step added, or I've seen people go back and actually add it themselves. But a lot of times now I think you can get that from the factory if you want it. But I know a lot of people do like having their large, soft upholstered rear engine covers because this is where everybody kind of likes to lay and get the sun. And if we look down here under the center seat, you can remove it and we have that plastic tray, just more storage here. But as you remove this, you can actually get access to your transmission and some of your other fluids. This is also where you can empty out and clean your water filtration, because I know when you come off some lakes, they actually want you to make sure that this is actually empty, that we're not carrying back any contaminants as you go to possibly another lake where you live. So this is where you get that access, and you can also service the boat right here underneath the seat. Very easy to get to. And then they obviously have that plastic tray to kind of add some more storage. And as we go across the interior, you can see here on the sides, we have speakers everywhere. We have cup holders. We have trays for your phone or whatever kind of items you want to place in there. And then underneath the side seat behind the driver, we have a built-in ice chest. And then across on the other side, we have the same thing, speakers and cup holders. And underneath these seats, you have continuous storage from the front of the boat all the way back underneath these seats. You can even see right here, we have the edge of the ballast bag. So if you do want to put something very large or long, you can feed it from either side and you can get access to it. Right now, we usually keep some of our soft items towards the back. That way nothing rubs up against the ballast bag. And then we'll keep some of our larger items or heavier items up towards the front here. And they fit very easy because it has a nice large opening, so you have a lot of options. And speaking about speakers again, we have subwoofers behind the driver's seat, and I've also seen people add them underneath in the front of the driver. And then we have our gauges here. On the left side, we have our ballast controls for our surf systems and pumping. And then we also have our speaker controls. They have everything set up on this boat to kind of mimic an airplane. That's the B52 kind of reference. Everything has aluminum machined plating, so it's very clean, but they also kept it very simple. And you can see these levers here. You can just push them forward, open it up, pull them back to keep them closed. You can fill it with water really quick. That's for our ballast tanks. Then you can come over here to these switches and you can flip one of them up and it will pump the water right on top. And there's also an overflow spout. So once that bag is full, you'll see the water kind of coming out the side and you know that you can turn the pump off. And then if we go back over here to the driver's side, the two actual digital screens we have are for the depth finder and then our perfect pass or the cruise control. This allows you to set to a decimal the speed of how you want to pull your surfer or your wakeboarder. So this will have your touch and go. You can set it and forget it. Once you throttle up, it takes over and you can set it exactly. You can also adjust while you're driving. This is our largest compartment. We keep some of our extra life jackets and our food under here because it does stay very dry. It also has our 2 batteries and it also has our shutoff. This is where you're going to turn the power on and off for the boat. It also comes with Exile speakers and they have some other brand options, but they just click right on. I'll show you here. It just pushes right on and then you pull the lever and it clamps down, and it has a post in the middle so it connects as you push it on, and you can just disengage it when you want to put them away or store the boat. So you can just pop it on and pop it off, and you can see there's just a little pull lever, very simple, but still very secure. If we take a look over at the tower, a quick flip of a switch and a lever, it is under some tension, but you do have to manually kind of lower it. They do have motorized options now, but this is not too heavy. You can do it by yourself, but you can lower this. So if you need to go into a smaller garage or a lower opening, you can. If you're going to store it long-term with it down, they still recommend that you support the front up there by the middle of the dash. But normally you would store this in the up position and you would tow it in the up position. We also have our sway away or adjustable surf racks. This is another option that you can upgrade. This is their standard here where they have a bungee that pulls around, but you can see that you can swivel them out, you can swivel them straight back. Or if you want to be able to access the boards, you can actually swivel it into the cockpit and you can actually get access to those and you don't have to stand up on the outside of your boat. These boats obviously do have a bimini. It sits very nice and clean behind your tower. It's a pretty easy process once you learn how to assemble it. I'll put out another video that explains exactly how to, because it is a little unique to the boat, but it has the ski pylons. It has a little pylon on top as well where we have our navigation light. But the bimini is nice. Then we also have interior heaters. This is an option that for people who surf and maybe go early in the morning, It's a must-have. You can actually get hot air to your riders, warm up your feet for the driver. So it's just another little luxury item that these boats offer. And it's really cool to be able to have that because it does help in the morning. If we take a look at the front of the boat here, this is what I also really liked about it, is that even though it has a standard V hull, we have a very wide open front bow. So this is the type of bow that you get normally with a split nose or kind of like a pickle fork style boat. But we have the V hull, and then the way that the top of the boat kind of curves around, you have almost like a broad nose, and that gives you a lot of extra room in the front, different than those V style boats. Then we obviously have our storage and our speakers up front. You have storage underneath the seats, and then you have that filler cushion there, and it's an easy walkthrough. And you can look here, just kind of looking above. It's a very wide, broad nose. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, in my opinion. And this is exactly what we were looking for. Some other nice options that MB has is there's LED lighting, speaker upgrades. They have all the little bells and whistles to kind of really customize these boats and make it very personal and unique. Colored lighting, standard lighting, whatever it is that you want. Different types of bimini setups that I've seen other people kind of come up with. This is something I'll probably do a video on as well separately, just to kind of show you how to assemble it and what it looks like. It's not too complicated, but it did take me a second. Now that we've done it, it's obviously easy and pretty straightforward, but it is different. It's very unique to MB and the way that their towers are. They have a rod that goes in the front and kind of supports it, and the bimini goes over the top of the tower. And then you just grab these two posts in the back and they just click down. It's very simple, but again, unique to them, and it's built custom for their towers. But that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions for me, again, let me know down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Maybe I answered some questions for you. And if you haven't already, please hit the like button. Consider subscribing. I got everything boats and vehicles, installation and equipment. If that's the kind of stuff that you're into, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.